Hello from me, Lazarus. Welcome to the next lessons in the series. Introduction to Lazarus IDE. As you know, I am currently working on my third book. Introduction to Lazarus IDE Part III. Let's show the cover, where we also add a practical programming system, my store. There you go. What it is? I'm currently working hard on it and I expect it to be ready in Bulgarian within a week, and then, when it's translated into English, it will be posted on my website. Stay tuned. Now we continue with the last part of this chapter 7 that we reached last time in my second book. And by the way, let me show it here on my website. We are now looking at the chapters from the paid part. We have reached this point 7.4, SQL queries with parameters. So, here, while working on the TSQLConnector with the various databases in the Lazarus IDE, I introduced you to another important aspect, the SQL parameterized queries that we saw in this component. Basically, the main goal of my book is not to teach you how to program, but rather, to introduce you to the basics, and some of the interesting possibilities that the programming environment Lazarus IDE gives us. Although, when I have deemed it necessary, I have shown some good practices for writing code. You'll see more of these in my third book, where we further improve coding and start doing it at a higher level. And that's why at the end of this chapter I decided to dedicate a page to this important thing, working with SQL queries with parameters, or parameterized queries. They are a method of executing SQL code, where the values are not embedded directly into the query text, but are passed as separate parameters. The SQL server processes the query with a pre-prepared expression. This is exactly where parameters are treated as values, not as part of the SQL code. And this brings us the following advantages. The first thing that has been talked about lately is safety, and it prevents the possibility of SQL injections, that is, for foreign penetration into the DB. Now, this is a principle for the Internet, when our database is located on servers on the Internet. In our case, when we are talking about a local database, this is not important, because with us this cannot be done by a stranger, unless he has access to our computer. No, of course not. Performance. The query can be executed faster and flexibility. It supports different data types, numbers, dates, text. Here is an example of parameterized queries. You see, here, in fact, in this part these parameterized queries are used. You see, both types are of string type. So therefore the user's name and his email, and his age is of type integer, that is, a whole number. That's pretty much it. So, here I have concluded that in the next editions of the book we can go into more detail about SQL queries. And I'm going to show you some of that in my new book, and in my new program. There it is. And here you'll see, by the way, the program itself. I just haven't translated it into English yet. This is what it will look like with the panels, which can be removed, by the way. So now I'm going to show you here -1 do we use parameterized queries. So, for example, one option is when we add a new buyer in this form, and accordingly we can see it here in the module. Here, you see, here it's all with parameterized queries. The same goes for a new user, when we add it. So, we can add a new user from here. Here it is, the form for a new user. And accordingly for a new product it is the same way. As for a new product we can look here. Here, in the same way, you see here, how the parameterized queries are made. That's all for this lesson. Best regards.